Hello, David here with Entertechnics, and today I'm going to go over Digital Camera Viewer version 2.3. You'll notice here that I'm on my desktop, and real quickly I want to go over a couple things here. You can see we have a Snapshots folder and a Videos folder. Both of these folders will house the relative data that you will gather from Digital Camera Viewer, and I'll go into deeper depth with those later. So let's start off by opening up Digital Camera Viewer. Alright, you'll see immediately that we've got a screen that says establishing link to selected camera IP address. And this can take anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds or so, depending on what you have set up. If you're using a mobile setup, it could take longer, 15 to 30 seconds. But as you can see here, we've connected, and I'm going to quickly go over all the settings that we have. Alright, for starters here, let's look at image capture and recording, since that's probably the most used feature of the program. So up here in the top left, you'll notice image capture and recording. If I select that, you'll see some features here like take snapshot, enable continuous snapshots, record video, and record video segments. You'll also notice that they're all hotkeyed with F or function keys. So take a snapshot is F5, enable continuous F6, and so on. And now you'll notice if you enable continuous snapshots as well as record video segments, there will be some blinking indicators up in the top right, and that's to show you that it is recording. And you'll see in a few minutes here, but I'll go over how to disable those if that's a feature that bothers you, as well as how you can change the interval at which it's taking the auto snaps and the length of the clip it's recording them. Alright, so moving on, let's go to our settings page. So there's actually two different ways you can access the settings menu. The first would be by clicking anywhere on the screen, which will bring this up. And you can also go to the top left here on the menu, and you can go to Settings, Basic Settings, and that will also bring it up. So you're immediately greeted with the connection settings, and from here you can see a list of all the available cameras. Right now I only have two on my network, one being the webcam on my laptop that I'm recording this on, which is why we have a blank IP address, and then the one we're viewing, which is this 10.10.10.5 address. And you'll notice that it's found here, and because that's the one I want to be viewing, I have it input into the live camera IP address control. Other than that, we have a green indicator light showing that the status is good of this camera link between this live IP address and the view that we're getting here on my laptop. Alright, so moving on, we'll go to the live image settings. Alright, so on this page we have the option to enable a zoom, and we also have the option to enable frame averaging. Now, in its current state, frame averaging is only available in black and white or monochrome. And as you can see, if we enable it, it essentially does what you would expect frame averaging to do. Right now we're averaging 5 frames, and you can see it gives an averaged look. So going back to that page, I'll go ahead and disable it. We also have the color set controls here, which you can change. We have 5 to choose from. 0 being none or grayscale, and as we continue on you have the different options. So I prefer color set 4, so I'll leave it at that. And now let's move on to the advanced settings page. You can see we have some of the more advanced controls found here. For starters, we have video codec used for recording, and here is where you can select which codec you can use for recording. Essentially, by default, we leave it as Microsoft Video 1, which gives a decent all-around image quality and video file size. I think it's around 20 megabytes per minute, which isn't too bad. And other than that, you could also select RAW down here, which isn't really listed, but the blank one is RAW uncompressed video. And so if you feel the need to play around with those, go ahead, but we recommend Microsoft Video 1. Camera mode is for users who are viewing more than one instance of one camera. So essentially, if you have 4 or 5 computers viewing one camera, so if you're doing that, you should probably consult Entertechnics anyways, but that's what that control is for. Max percent of size and percent reduced to are both in regards to the hard drive. So once the hard drive reaches 85% of its maximum capacity, the program will run a scan and remove the oldest videos and snapshots up to 50%. So essentially, it's going to bring the hard drive file size back down to 50%. So the volume will be reduced to 50%. And here we also have touchscreen settings and indicator flashing. And so touchscreen settings would be how I mentioned earlier that you can click on the background to bring up this menu. Well, if you disable that, you can no longer click on that. And you will only be able to access the settings menu by going up here and hitting basic settings. But I'll leave that enabled for now. Indicator flashing is for the record and auto snapshot buttons that blink in the upper right hand side. If you do not like those, you can disable them and it will still record like normal, it just won't be flashing all the time. Alright, moving on to the digital output setting. Alright, so digital output settings really only pertains to those who have the remote iris and focus. And so essentially all that's here is to enable those and connect to the digital output module, as well as change the steps per signal, which is each time you push the button to focus left, focus right, or move the iris left or right, that's how many steps it's going to go. And generally these settings won't need to be touched once it's delivered, but they are here. Moving on to video capture settings. You'll notice we have a video file path, snapshot file path, and those are both the folders that I discussed earlier that are found as shortcuts on the desktop. But if you feel the need to change these, you can certainly change them. If you need to put them on a separate external drive or on a network attached storage drive or something like that. We also have the clip duration and record interval found here. Now this is in regards to the automatic record segment control. And so essentially how this is set up right now is I would be recording a clip that is 15 seconds long every 1 minute. And I would continue to do that until I disable the automatic record segments function. Now below that we have our frame rate indicator, which just tells you the live image frame rate. And then we also have the auto snapshot increment, which right now I would be storing a snapshot every 1 minute. And then we also have the record frames per second, which essentially you want to line this up with whatever the frame rate is you're getting while you record video. And again, you shouldn't need to change this once it's delivered, but the control is here. All right, so that's all of our basic settings. For those of you that have the remote iris focus controls, you'll notice up here in the top menu bar, we have adjust iris left, adjust iris right, adjust focus left, and adjust focus right. And you'll also notice that these are all hotkeyed with function buttons. So F1 for adjust iris left, F2 for adjust iris right, and so on. And these buttons do exactly as they describe, either move the iris left or right and adjust the focus left or right. Alright, so that's pretty much all I have for this program. To exit it, you can just go File, Exit. There's also some print options, and that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or concerns or anything like that, or would like some more info, feel free to contact us. You can visit our website at entertechnics.com. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.